I get all sorts of email here at Vobes Central. People send me all sorts of things. They send me questions, they send me answers, they send me videos. And sometimes it's very hard to keep up with all the videos. Occasionally people send me money, which is very nice, and thank you so much for all of that. The videos that sometimes people send are just absolutely delightful, and I cannot help and resist going off to watching. Instead of having all the sort of fear-mongering, the end of the world is nigh sort of stuff, people send me sort of idyllic little videos, a bit of Pathé news from the past. For example, here, have a look at this. This is from a Somerset village, bit of Pathé news. 1957. I can't play much of it, and I can't play the audio because I don't want to get the copyright thing. But look, there we are in the countryside, people doing their thing. They're grabbing the old stooks and bits and bobs, and let's just go and have a look down here. Selling their wares, and people are doing a bit of basket making. Look at that old-fashioned stuff, and there's a nice wicker chair. And here's some old chap. Look at the way he's dressed, beautiful. He's up there doing a bit of thatching on the top of a house. It's just terrific, isn't it? And there's the house. Look at that, right up there. Amazing, so peaceful and lovely. And then somebody sent me this the other day. This is London, 1950, the city in the 50s, with Rex Harrison doing the voiceover, which of course I can't show. It shows the river here. I'm just going to go through it. Look at that old-fashioned London, the old barges. And all of this, all very nice and quiet and relaxed. A bit of the Tower of London there. Let's just have a look. There's people. Look at the way they dressed. Isn't that lovely? People had a certain sort of dress sense. They had a certain sort of pride. And there they are, the old taxis. Let's see if we can find just a little bit. Here we are. The old red buses and the taxis and all of that. There they go. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? People, a busy little town. I say busy little town, a city. Oh, even some horses galloping across. Where's that? Hyde Park or somewhere, dashing about in the 90s. You don't see so much of that these days. And then look at these old cars. Isn't it amazing? I love it. Then if we go back and have a look at London today, for example, here is a little bit of London. It looks quite charming, but the buses have changed a little bit. This is down on Google Street View. This must have been taken early in the morning because ordinarily it's absolutely busy. We'll just go down this street here. But I haven't been to London for a while. But look at these slightly ugly buildings. I say slightly ugly. They're very ugly. All the charm has gone. There's all sorts of different types of people in there. Hugger-mugger all over the place. And it's very, very busy. And the sad thing about all of this, it's all change, and you can't stop change, of course. But the sad thing is when you look at those old beautiful pictures from the past and we sit here from the future looking back, we know what's about to happen, don't we? We know that there are going to be all these sort of changes and the huge explosion of population, the explosion of technology, the fact that people were using old telephone boxes. Oh, I say, hello, Charlie. Are you in this afternoon? I'd love to pop round for lunch. All this kind of malarkey. Now we're on our phones, we're radiating our brains, the 5G is all over the place. We have the government sort of ever making a pincer movement on us. That sort of relaxed freedom stuff that we had in the past seems to have been moved away, even though we know that certain bloodline families were sort of trying to manipulate things, creating the First and the Second World War, funding both sides, all this sort of stuff was going on. Even though there was a sense of freedom, a sense of pride, and a sense of space, which was rather nice. Now when you go into some of these places, the fields that chap was looking out onto in the beginning of that film in the let's see if I can find it, the Somerset Village, right at the beginning here, where he's looking over here, over the garden gate. Here we go, look at that. All of that probably built on now. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. Here it is. Probably built on now with lots of rabbit hutches and very mean-looking houses with tiny windows and no garden to grow vegetables in, and nowhere to park your car. And soon we know that they're trying to get rid of the cars and all of this. And the thing is, are we actually going to put up with this? Are we going to put up with this? I mean, we sort of jumped through the hoops, didn't we, when the government told us there was some horrible bug floating about and it came from a Wuhan wet market, and suddenly somehow it managed to get over to here, and people are going, oh my God, and they just obediently followed all the directions of the government. And what happened then? Because the government came out with their and all of this, and now people are dropping dead left, right and centre. And we come to that point where we've gone, what a bloody stupid mistake that we've started to do is to listen to these people who are trying to sort of take our lives away and our freedom, our sovereignty, our individual sovereignty. Are we going to put up with that? Are we going to say, yeah, no, that's perfectly all right? Fortunately, there's an army of people that's ever growing, and I'm so thrilled to see it, who are trying desperately to grab older people and say, come on, shake it off, stop acquiescing to their nonsense, stop living in fear. What's the worst that they can happen? Are they going to come out with the old and do that business to you? Probably not at this stage anyway. And let's face it, there's more of us than there are of them. And by acquiescing all the time to their demands and worrying about, where's our next penny going to come from? Where's our next food going to come from? Well, hopefully it's not going to come from the supermarkets, which is highly processed and full of crap. We've got to start taking back that control, that responsibility for ourselves and say, no, we're just not having any of this. We're getting into the groups of like-minded people and saying, actually, had enough of this. You can play your little game of government and asking for votes and going through the motions of lying with your manifesto and saying we'll do all this, and we know that actually you're completely disingenuous because you're agreeing to poisoning the skies, poisoning the water, poisoning the food. We're not putting up with it, thanks very much. As I say, more of us than you. Let us turn our backs on these dictators, this tyrannical nonsense, form our own little enclaves of people, do the honourable thing and push back against it. And let's go back to some more rural idyll and a simpler time when people were nice to one another and we could have space and presence of mind to think and enjoy our families and our food around the table and not feel that constant pressure all the time to have to do what they say and fear the knock at the door that someone's coming to do us. We can get out of this very easily. We just need to turn our backs on all these clowns.